Hey guys, my name's Anthony. Today I wanted to come and do a review on the VNSH holsters, VNSH, like this. They claim to be the world's most comfortable holsters. The reason I'm doing this is because prior to buying this, I looked for third-party reviews and I did not find any. And so I wanted to see if I could help somebody else out that was looking for an independent information on this belly holster, rather than simply the videos put out by the company itself. To give you a little bit of background on this, I'm not a just straight up gun guy. I happen to have a few, but I don't know a whole lot about them. I know my way enough around the guns that I own to be comfortable with them, shooting them. But beyond that, I'm by no means an expert. I'm just going to talk about the holster that I received, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and to give you a spoiler alert, probably why I'm going to end up returning it. So that said, just got the VNSH holster today, and this is kind of my first impressions of it. First off, things that I did like. Things that I did like on it is he talks about the yoga covering that exists on this. He's right, it's comfy. It's very comfortable. And I could see where if this sat against you for hours a day, it would not be a problem. So credit to that. I appreciate that. And the second thing I'll say this, to his credit, is of the holsters I've tried, and I've tried a few of them, this is the most comfortable holster that I've tried. The reason I was even looking at a belly holster, so I'm based here in Texas, but frequently I find myself wearing holsters that don't always lend themselves to the attire that I'm trying to do. So like during the summertime, I'm often wearing shorts that don't have a belt, or in the wintertime I'll be wearing something like jogging pants or something like that again don't have a belt. Now sometimes I do, but when I have a belt, there's inside the waistband holsters that work just absolutely great, that I'm pleased with. But I was wanting something that I could wear independent of belts, or wasn't trying to pull down elastic belt lines, which is why I was looking at the belly holsters. But a lot of what I found on this holster is stuff that I don't like. And I'm going to show some little things. Some of it's me kind of being nitpicky. But at the end of it, I'm going to kind of drop the bombshell on why I don't like this at all. There's two reasons that just really created a bad experience on it. First thing I'm going to show off is just something that I would call a build quality issue. In the corners and where the seams are, see if I can get this to show up on camera. Where the seams are, there we go, there's one. These strings, they kind of dangle out on these corners where they didn't finish up nicely. There's one, right here's another one. Let's see if I can get that to show up against my forehead. There you go. You can see one. Again, not a huge concern to me. I wouldn't return it if that was the only thing that I saw. Here's another one right here. They're all over the belt. Just in places, they're over here on the straps. Just a lot of places where it's just not a really tight finish. Again, it's not awful. It's about what I would expect from a Walmart quality sewn garment or something like that. Definitely not a reason I would return it. I'm just pointing out some things on it. So there's that. The second thing that I just really disliked about this belt greatly is, okay, so you've got the Velcro straps that attach on this, and they fasten up and it's tight on you, and that's all great, with one problem. This piece right here that you see, this is the hook part of it. You hear that? This is the scratchy part. I'm a big guy. I have a 47-inch belly, so I'm right at the upper end of what this belt can hold. My problem with this is, in order for me to do this, I've got two choices. I can either take this hook part and I can cinch it up all the way on this so it hides the hooks, and I can do that. But what that does is it makes this belt really tight, uncomfortably tight, like that. So what I ended up doing then is I took this and I loosened it back to a level where I maybe had this much, which is still, it's plenty of support for it and keeps it from pulling apart. Much more comfortable on me. But then it created a different problem. All these hooks I was talking about right here, that rubs against my belly. And it scratches. And it scratches hard. I don't like it. And all this right here, you forget it. Because this soft, velvety, smooth yoga pants stuff is simply outperformed by the scratchiness that's right there. So my first thing to you is, if you're a big guy, like I am, and you have a large waist, you're going to have to deal with this. It's not comfortable. Now, I thought about I could go out and I could get some kind of microfiber towel or something like that and cut it to fit, and I could cover that up. And that's definitely a issue with me, and I'm not pleased with it. But again, if that was the only issue, I'd still deal with it. But let me lead to the other two things that I really greatly dislike. So one of the things he talks about with this holster is he talks about it's a one size fits all. And I've got 3 different guns here, and let me just show you just for the camera so you can see there. So I've got a little Ruger MCP2 here, and all of these guns, it's empty. I also have an M&P Shield 2. It's also empty. And then I've got a FNS9 full size. And all these guns are empty. Here's what I'm going to show off. Is within this little pouch here, if I put the smallest of the guns, so the Ruger LCP2, if it's in there, well enough, it's there. He talks about having this cover guard so you can't get in on the finger, and he's right. You can't get in on that. That's good. It also handles the M&P Shield well enough that I can put the shield in there. But all of a sudden what I found is now, if I dig in, did you hear that? Try it again. Listen closely. I've got my shield in here. Here's my cover guard, but I can take my finger. That cover that he talks about, even if I go with a mid-size gun like the shield, that cover guard does not sufficiently protect the shield. And now if I come in here with the FNS9, which is a full size, and I try and put that in this one, same type of situation. It fits in it, but I can take my fingers and it's right there. So when the video makes reference to a cover guard that keeps you from putting your fingers in here and accidentally discharging, simply not true. Or not for any kind of a mid-size or a large full-size frame. It only works with the smallest of guns, that LCP2. Now, again, I'm not worried. I keep trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. I want it to keep this holster. I want it to do it. But it's not going to work for me. And here's my fatal design flaw that I absolutely have against this holster. I'm just going to go with the M&P Shield 2 because that's the one that I would prefer. That would be my preferred carry gun with this one. Let me adjust. I'm going to adjust this strap down so I can get it kind of closer in range. So one of the things on this holster is it talks about the level 2 protection on this, and it works with it's got a little magnet here, and these little magnet buttons, they flip in on this like that and they snap in, and it's decently protected. It keeps it from coming out. I mean, you're not just going to come in here and just grab the gun and pull it out. You have to undo it, which is good. And that was to me, that was an added bonus to this holster. It was one of the things I was super excited about. Here's my problem. When you're looking at this, notice right here, you see this right here? This little thing? That's the part that when you're trying to unsnap that with your thumb, the problem with that is that little piece is actually not where you, underneath there, the place where your finger wants to go. That's actually part of this, the original piece that goes over the top. So this piece where you're trying to reach in your thumb and get it unsnapped, your finger is hooking on something that can't unsnap. So in order to do this, let me snap it back up here. So now I've got it fastened back. So in order for me to unsnap this thing, I actually have to not hook on the first part of it where my finger wants to go. I have to get in on the second piece of it right here and get just in that little groove to unsnap it so that I can draw the pistol out. In any kind of an urgent situation, adrenaline rushing situation where you're trying to get the holster out, I don't want to have my holster restricting access to my gun or while I sit here and try and get my finger in exactly the right place, because if I put it in the wrong place, the place where it wants to go, I can't get it out. The whole point of having a holster to me is that I want something that makes it comfortable to carry the weapon, which is why I want it, but at the same time makes that weapon available to me when I need it. And if I can't get it out when I need it because you have a design flaw that makes that strap needlessly difficult to make the weapon available to present, I don't need it. So for me personally, I'm going to return it. I don't like it. Your mileage may differ. I'm open to trying a version 2.0 if the company would address these issues. Most specifically, it needs to address the issue with the level 2 holster protection. That's the breaker to me, the inhibitor that's keeping me from absolutely stopping. That's the deal breaker. That is the reason I'm returning it. The finger protection on it that stops it, it needs to, instead of just being that little 2-inch by 3-inch square, 1-inch by 3-inch square, instead of being that small cover that protects it, it needs to go the full length of that, and it needs to do a better job protecting the trigger against a mid-size or a full-size gun. That's also a problem. Things like the scratching on the hooks that I talked about, that could have been, the microfiber thing would be a win if they could take this negative and turn it into a positive. If they would take some of this same material and make it available that you could put it over this hook piece right here to give you that same kind of protection. Or they could have also done it if they would have just put the hook simply on the other side. So the only thing against my skin was this. So if you put the hooks on the outside of it, so that when you're looping over, then your Velcro. So the point I'm saying on this is they put the Velcro pieces on the wrong side of the belt. If they would have flipped it over, it wouldn't have been an issue. Or even if, now what it does do is in that case, now instead of having the spandex against your skin, you've got this woolly stuff against your skin. But the woolly stuff is still much more comfortable than those scratchy hooks. So that's the issue. The build quality, I deal with. You know what? Unless you're just selling an absolute high-end thing, those are easy enough to take care of. I'm not as concerned about those. I'm just pointing them out. So hope this video helps somebody. Like I said, for me, it's not worth it. I'm going to go ahead and return it, take advantage of the money-back guarantee. But I wanted to see if I could put together a neutral, third-party, independent review of the VNSH belly holster and see if it helps someone else out. Good luck and good day. Be safe, guys. Bye.